So the NCAA tournament just happened a few weeks ago, right? And I think I missed seeing like those big the matchups that mattered, like where they really got grudges against each other, where they really just like throughout history, their history, their team history, where they just can't stand each other. Like for instance, Duke and North Carolina got a huge rivalry. They just can't stand each other. So I think that's one of the reasons I fell in love with sports, is that rivalry, that like grittiness of just those of teams having, you know, a championship history or whatever it is. If it's like Michigan and Michigan State, where they just don't like each other.
It's Michigan and Ohio. That's the rivalry.
Yeah.
Michigan State is like the little brothers. They don't know about it. Draymond Green played football at Michigan State for a split second.
But I mean, but you give like
you need to know about Michigan State as a school, as a team, as a crew, in the words of Tupac. You don't know about that either. Huh? Hit him up. Never mind.
What? Anyways, but I mean, didn't you have a rivalry when you played? Was there a team that you went up against that you was just like, y'all couldn't stand them?
Rivals, to say somebody is your rival, you'd have to look at them as equals, right?
Okay.
Davis, our rival school is Sac State, but the Causeway Classic, it's like 58-4. Nah, it's not that bad. It's like 42-16.
They went double digits. So
we had like an 18-year streak where they didn't win. So it's not a rival. That's little bro.
Well, San Jose State, Fresno State had a rivalry. Has a rivalry.
Yes. Here we go with this again.
It's a rivalry. Trust me. When those games happen, it's a big deal. All the alum come out, and you know it's great that San Jose
Ali
State
versus George Foreman is a rivalry.
All right.
Either one of them could win. Y'all don't be winning like that.
I mean, it's nice to be able to. These last few years, we've been really good. So shout out to the Spartans for, you know, handling their business.
You seen 300?
Yes, I have.
What happened to the Spartans at the end of that movie?
That's just so rude. So rude. So rude.
But rivalry games. What's your favorite rivalry?
My favorite rivalry? I would have
Any
to say
sport.
I would have to say it's the Lakers and the Celtics.
I had a feeling that was coming. I did.
Oh, really?
You're going to see when you edit this that I've mouthed it at the same time that you said it. It's actually hilarious. I'm just spoiling the surprise for you now, but they saw it too. It's going to look like this was planned, but it's really not.
Got you.
Well, now when you say rivalry, that's a rivalry because you go all the way back to what, like the 60s?
Yes.
Well, not really the 60s because the Celtics dominated that series in the 60s.
They did.
That's the Bill Russell era. But yeah, from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, not so much in the 90s. Mid 2000s, it kind of came back a little bit.
In the early 2000s, it kind of sparked up again a little bit. But yes, mid 2000s is when it really got heated with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Rondo, Kobe, Pau Gasol.
I would say that was more like the tail end because it wasn't before it was who was going to win the NBA championship. It was either going to be the Lakers on the West Coast or the Celtics on the East Coast.
Right.
Like that's how they pitched it. That's how the network showed it. It was East Coast versus West Coast. All right. And then of course you had like the Knicks sprinkle in the 70s every now and then. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it was like the Lakers, the Celtics. And then the Pistons jumped in for a hot second, and then the Bulls took over. And after that, the rivalry kind of lost its sauce a little bit. But really, the 80s, the Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird, like it's like the superstar versus the other team superstar. These dudes had McDonald's commercials, playing horse in the gym, like throwing the ball from the rafters for Big Macs and stuff. Like it was crazy. Those commercials. Like, those was the days.
I mean, hey everybody! In case y'all haven't noticed, we're talking about rivalries. Just kind of going back and forth about some of our favorite rivalries in sports, basketball, football, whichever. And obviously, we're still talking about the Lakers one. So continue. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew.
I don't care about either one of those because I don't have a team with a rivalry. Like the Clippers don't. They rivals themselves. How we gonna beat ourselves this game? Last night we lost by 30. We can top that, guys. Come on.
Yeah, you would think that it would be the Clippers and the Lakers, but that's not a rivalry at all.
Well, because neither one of them is from LA originally. Like
true.
The Lakers.
The Lakers are from Minneapolis.
When the last time you seen a lake in LA?
I mean,
in LA.
In the city, none.
Lakers, like multiple lakes. There's.
I haven't.
Why are they purple? Because Minnesota is purple. Why? Because of Prince.
Oh.
That's not why.
Wow. That's a
Purify
interesting...
yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Because they're Lakers. Wow, I can't talk again. Their colors were originally blue and yellow.
It was baby blue and navy blue. It was like before the yellow even came. The yellow was like the accent because lakes. Yeah, the land. What is it, the land of 1,000 lakes? Something like that. Yeah. And the Clippers used to be in New York. It was the Buffalo Braves.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they moved to San Diego.
Ain't nothing in San Diego. Sorry.
They got some good street tacos in San Diego.
But sports-wise. They
do have some, yeah. Sports-wise, what do you mean? The San Diego Chargers used to play there. They're in LA now. Bigger market.
I mean, Chargers
the Padres.
Okay, yes, the Padres, but the Chargers, that's kind of a...
They were in San Diego for
years,
though, from way back.
Never did anything to really...
What? They got Hall of Famers that played on those teams.
I agree. With Danian Tomlinson. And
I was talking about Kellen Winslow era, like way back.
I was just sticking to what I know.
Rivalries, though. And they were a rivalry of your team.
Oh, yes. The Raiders cannot stand the Chargers.
Everybody was a Raiders rival in that division.
Yes. I think that's just divisions, period, right? Like in the NFL, you have your divisional rivalries, and those just get heated.
Twice, some of them aren't the same. Like the Raiders and the Chiefs, for example. I went to a Raiders game.
Rivalry.
Yeah, it is.
Not now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not right now.
But before that, I went to a game. The best action was in the stands, or stuff happening like on the field. Nobody tripping up, but the fights in the stands.
Well, interesting fact is the Raiders rivalry used to be with Seattle as well.
Because Seattle was in the AFC West.
Right.
They switched over to NFC.
Yep. That used to be a rivalry there too, but the Raiders just have a rivalry with everybody in the division.
That's what it comes down to.
They don't. The refs don't like the Raiders. Nobody likes the Raiders.
They didn't like Al Davis.
Who, the refs?
No, the league. So because they didn't like Al Davis, they made the point to go after his team. And so that's why they got that whole
That's a whole documentary.
They're trying to go after us. They don't like us.
They don't.
Wah.
They don't like us.
Wah.
They don't like us. Anyways.
Whisper into the mic like this because you can't hear me,
but so I'm not paying attention to him. The greatest rivalry I would like I said before, is definitely the Lakers and Celtics. Like they both now have 17 championships.
So you're basing it off of the number of championships that make it.
I mean, it's not it's not because of that particularly, but I mean that is one of the factors. Is the championships? It was always like, well, we got more championships than you. No, we got more championships than you. Well, now guess what? Tied, 17.
So that you're basing it off of championships.
Not the whole argument.
So that just means that nobody else they play is worth 2 flies smashed because they don't have no competition. So you're basically saying they skate through the whole league until it's time to play each other in the championship.
I mean...
Which is the reason why all these super teams started popping up, because guys are trying to join up and join forces to beat the Lakers when they were dominating, or to beat the Celtics when they were dominating.
I mean, let's not talk about how the league blocked trades for certain teams.
Chris Paul definitely should have been a Laker. I agree. He should have been a Laker.
Yeah.
But the whole narrative that LeBron James started the super team stuff isn't real. They're just saying because he was in his prime. That. Nah, but they're saying he started the super team in Miami because of the Celtics.
I don't believe that at all. I think
the Celtics was whooping his butt in Cleveland.
The Celtics were just...
They had the truth.
Right.
They had Jesus. And then they had the big ticket. Mm-hmm. LeBron, who did he have? Delonte West. Who else? Who was his coach? I can't name anybody on that.
They didn't have consistent coaches.
They had what's
Mike
his
Brown.
Face? They had Keisha Cole baby daddy. What's his name? Not Booby Miles. That was from Friday Night Lights. Booby Gibson. Booby Gibson. See? He didn't have nobody. That's why he's like, I need help. Help me. So he went to Miami.
Right.
Joined forces with D-Wade.
D-Wade, Chris Bosh.
But Miami seems to be the spot people want to join forces to win championships.
And why would you say that?
Because when Shaq was there, no, Shaq didn't join forces, but Gary Payton sure did hop his tail over to Miami and got a ship.
And Paul Malone tried to go to the Lakers.
Who?
Malone, Chris.
Oh, I thought you said Paul Malone. I was like, who?
Anyway.
Karl Malone.
Karl Malone, that's what I meant to say. My bad.
I was like, Paul Malone.
Not Paul Malone. Sorry. We were talking about Chris Paul. I'm getting tongue-tied, clearly.
Paul? So, Gary Payton was on that team, too.
Right.
Him. Who else? I think Scottie Pippen that went to the Lakers at one point. I know he went to the Blazers.
I was like...
Dennis Rodman went to the Lakers.
Yeah. They all tried to team that didn't work.
Dudes was hopping teams.
Steve Nash. At one point tried to go to went to the Lakers.
He was on the Lakers.
He was, and it was trash.
That was because Chris Paul was supposed to be there.
Yep. They needed somebody, but Steve Nash wasn't the dude, clearly.
But that was before the players had the power to kind of make their own teams. Like, I'm going to just go play with my friends. Like, I'm going outside. I'm going to pick my five. You get your five.
Pick-up game. Yep.
Like, I think if OKC had never disbanded that team, like if they still had Kevin Durant, they still had
Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
Along with the other, what's the dude that sounds like he's speaking in tongues when you say his name? What's his name? He's a black dude.
I have no idea.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna bother me now. You know what time it is?
Go to the Googles. And that team, but
Stephalosha, something. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name. Steven Adams wasn't there yet. Not that I can recall.
Thabo Cephalosha.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound like you're speaking in tongues? Thabo Cephalosha.
It does. But
Swiss South African basketball player.
So you think with that team would have created a rivalry somewhere?
Because there's nobody else in the West. Like, they popped up. Then you had Golden State. So even before they won, I want to say this was like back in 2013. I had a teammate that was like, man, watch, the Warriors is going to be cold. I'm like, bro, they're not. Since the days of Baron Davis, and they had the whole "we believe" and all that stuff, they would win one
Steph
series.
Curry would break his ankles every other week. So,
but dang, you got to get in my man ankles.
It's the truth.
At least you don't have that Grant Hill. Grant Hill hurt his ankle one time. It was never seen or heard from again.
Well, they tried to trade Steph a few times.
But the Warriors, I got to tip my hat off to them, because who was the man there before Steph?
Monte Ellis.
Monte was a baller.
Monte killed it.
That dude in high school, I think he dropped like 70-something points in the game. Like, he was killing. So you figure, him and Steph, but it didn't fit.
It didn't match.
It didn't
at
fit.
All.
And then you had a little rivalry with the Warriors and the Cavs for those few years. It was just
the championship
the fact
years,
that LeBron literally took, no matter what team he was on, and went to what was it, 8 straight finals?
Yeah.
So it didn't matter who was on his team, right?
Even if he lost them.
The rivalry is who for that span of years, whoever was playing against LeBron.
Whoever was playing against LeBron is the rivalry.
That's the rivalry.
Actually an interesting point you bring up. It's not necessarily about the teams. Sometimes it's just the player rivalries.
KD played against him and was like, man, you know what? I can't beat this dude. Hey, Steph, I heard y'all just set the record for the most wins in NBA history. Let me come join y'all team. So now you have arguably the best player offensively in the league joining the best team in the league, a team full of shooters. Like, you got dudes over 7 feet tall that can shoot jumpers from 40 feet away. How do you stop that?
You can't.
How do you stop that?
You
like,
can't.
That's cheating. That's the Monstars for real. The Golden State Warriors, when they had KD, was the Monstars. Literally. Michael Jordan wouldn't have beat that team.
Yeah, they were, because nobody could beat them. You just knew that they even if the Warriors were slick in that way. They would make you think that you had a chance, like probably somewhere in like at half.
Oh, they would be down by 16.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're down 16. Well, that's
and then third quarter,
we're just gonna shoot 6 times and we're gonna have the lead again.
And then up by 30 in the third quarter, and then they would all rest in the fourth.
Is that a rivalry? Can you argue that the Warriors and the Cavs was a rivalry? As I mean, are we talking about just long-term rivalries? Sometimes a rivalry is just short-lived. It's like a fling. It's just boom. It's just fiery for that minute and a half, and then it's over with.
That's. I mean, that's true. It literally doesn't have to be this long historical, great rivalry. It could be just for a time period. Like you said, anybody against LeBron is a rivalry.
I found out about a rivalry when I was in high school. I didn't know that the rivalry even existed. I didn't give a rat's tail about it until I got jumped for wearing. So this was in like 98, right? No, 97. Moved to Alabama. Moved to Mobile, Alabama. And my mom got me this winter coat. It was like the little puff coat, the reversible joints, right? It had like the seams in it, the little puff. Yeah, it was reversible. It was navy blue on the outside because we had uniforms at the school. Had to wear a navy blue coat. But the interior of the coat, the lining, was orange. But it was reversible, so you could flip it open and wear it on the orange side. So, if it's open, you can see it. So, I wear this to school, and somebody was like, "Roll Tide." So now we squabbing because you just walked up and hit me because I Roll Tide, and then somebody's like War Eagle, and then somebody else jump in, and now they fighting each other, and I gotta get my licks in, but they fighting each other because I guess the dude that was talking about War Eagle figured I was an Auburn fan because of my blue and orange coat, and now he fighting with the Bama fan who's talking about Roll Tide. And they're like, which side are you on? Whose side are you on, right? And I'm like, I'm from California. I don't know what y'all, Roll Tide, War Eagle, what? So this whole time, I'm thinking the Auburn mascot is a dang eagle. They the Tigers. Make it make sense. How's Alabama, they an elephant in a fight? What? I didn't understand it. I still don't understand why their mascot is an elephant. How many elephants have you seen in Alabama? Wait, let me take that back. I gotta take that back. I still got friends and family in Alabama. In no way did I mean to offend anybody. I don't mean to offend anybody. I personally, as a university, I like the Alabama Crimson Tide. I like the University of Alabama. If I had to choose between Alabama and Auburn, I like Alabama.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But I had an orange and blue coat. That was it. It was just a coat. Seems like no matter where, I'm a military kid. So no matter where I go to a new city, I'm always finding about stuff the hard way. Right? Moved to California from Virginia when I was a little kid. And I had these shoes that used to have they lit up on the bottom. Right? And they were British Knights. Right? British Knights. Mine happened to be blue and black, right? So BK, right? I'm not affiliated with any kind of gang activity or anything like this. This was but this was in 1991, right? This is the early 90s. So I got family not too far from where we are taping right now, and the neighborhood predominantly wears red.
Oh, and you were wearing.
So I show up with some
blue
blue and black BKs, which for those that don't know, that would be used negatively towards people of that association by someone else from another organization. And they didn't take too kindly to that. It was like, what's up, blood? What's up with them shoes? So, once again, much to the similar with the whole Roll Tide. Yeah, so my cousin's got a couple of licks in. I was good till my auntie hit me with the elbow drop. No, I'm just
Dang.
But no, I had an older cousin that just let me know, like, yeah, we don't wear that kind of stuff around here. So it was pretty much like these are the colors that you can wear. This is what you can't wear. These are the neighborhoods you can go to. These are the neighborhoods you can't go to.
Right. To
the point where at the skating rink, you pretty much had to walk in with like a clear plastic bag on for clothes because you couldn't wear a white T-shirt, you couldn't wear a black T-shirt, no sports.
Yeah, I was saying like
it wasn't
they wouldn't let you go in there.
It wasn't team rivalry.
Yeah, it was not
the greatest
team rivalry
of all time.
It was not team rivalries. I mean,
that's
a whole different.
Yeah, that's a rivalry.
That's a huge rivalry.
But yeah, Alabama Auburn. That's my biggest.
Wow.
And I wouldn't even say I'm necessarily on a side, but I would choose Alabama.
And I mean, it wasn't like I grew up in the Bay Area, so the thing is, I'm saying Bay Area, we're not going to have this conversation. So the thing is, I do want to say that another rivalry that I actually was a part of was the Raiders and the Niners. That was a big thing. That was a big deal. And
Battle of the Bay.
Yeah, it was always a Battle of the Bay. We didn't always get to play each other. It would almost always be preseason, but it was still always a fun rivalry to be a part of. I got family members that are Niner fans and Raider fans, so it'd always be a big thing. Either go to the game or have a big party and just talk a lot of crap.
What's funny is I got friends that's from Oakland that are Niner fans.
Oh yeah, I do too.
It's a lot of them. Like, how are you from Oakland?
Yep.
And you a Niner fan? It's because when they grew up, the Raiders were in LA.
In LA.
So that was like LA's team. Then I got friends from LA that was Rams fans, even though the Rams was in St. Louis, but they were in LA first.
My dad's a Rams fan, and he grew up in LA, so I get that. But I mean, I think rivalries is a big part of sports, and it's fun. It's the competition of it all. But we wanted to let y'all know that we're gonna take a little short hiatus.
Like the Raiders in the playoffs. My bad. Go ahead. We're not gonna be going that long.
Oh!
Boom! 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 Firing shots. You gotta do this.
Short hiatus.
Go ahead.
But don't worry, there'll be a bunch of Whose Side Are You On posts. We'll be sure to go on live a couple times so you won't miss our faces.
Let me just post some bloopers.
Ooh, we got a lot of those.
A lot of them. Mostly mine. I got a lot of flubs.
I do too, though. I got a few.
And mine are funny.
Thank you for watching another episode of Whose Side Are You On? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, DM us, hit us up, let us know what you want us to talk about, because I'm sure there's a ton of debates out there where, you know, he'll be wrong and I'll be right. So make sure you...
none of the debates that I'll be wrong about unless you just want me to choose that side. But
stay locked in. Make sure you hit that notification button and stay updated. See y'all later.
Peace.